Alright, so what's going on, everybody? So I just got out of the gym, and in this video you're going to see me do shoulders and arms, and I'm going to do a little bit of a voiceover after I do this intro segment. But it was a really good workout. I actually had a really good pump. My strength didn't really go up. Well, actually it did, but I didn't increase in weight, but I increased in the reps, which is, if you're getting stronger, even though you may not be going up in weight, if you're going up in reps, that's a sign of you getting stronger. And I had a really awesome workout for sure. And I know in the past, in the last video, I was talking about how I hate doing deload weeks because I just can't go as hard as I want to, but it's necessary. And honestly, it paid off very well. Really good, awesome pump like the whole time. I just had an amazing pump. I still do now, but what I want to talk about here is I watched a Alex Eubank video. I think it was Saturday or Friday when he dropped this, but he was talking about mental health, and I think it's a really big issue, especially nowadays, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but I want to also like bring awareness to it. And he was in the video, Alex was talking about how progression, and humans were addicted to that feeling of progressing, and because it gives us that dopamine rush, right? It makes us feel good. We got a good feeling afterwards, and it's that feeling of achieving something, right? So what I want to say is, like, go through life with a purpose, okay? Go through life having long-term goals, but also have short-term goals that help you, that are stepping stones to that long-term goal that you want to reach. And I have a long-term goal, and I have a lot of short-term goals that I want to achieve in life. And you know, going through life with having a purpose, it really gives you a motivation to want to wake up in the day, to want to accomplish things, and it's really good. And you know, a purpose, finding a purpose, it can be really hard for people, but you know, I'm a Christian, and I believe that God sent his son Jesus Christ to die for my sins, and he rose on the third day to give us eternal life. So you know, me having that in my soul, that gives me purpose to, you know, preach the gospel, because one of God's commandments are to preach the gospel to the entire earth. So you know, having that in my life, having that joy in my life, that gives me a purpose as well, and that's what I hang my joy in, that I hang my hope in. And you know, if you're going through life and you're depressed and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, you know, if maybe you've gone to doctors, maybe you've gone to therapists. I'm not saying that doctors and therapists aren't good, but a lot of times what they'll do is they'll give you medication. Those medications will only suppress the symptoms, whereas they don't get to the root cause. And you know, if you haven't tried God, I would really you know, advocate for just praying to God and just crying out to him and saying, you know, if you're real, God, you know, show me that you're real. And I guarantee you that he will show you his presence. And it's really an awesome thing. And another thing that I think that, you know, speaking to my male audience here mostly, is that what's going on with men nowadays, and you know, depression and all that, and you know, feeling weak. I think so much pornography is put out nowadays, and I know a lot of men struggle with this. I've struggled with it before, but I overcame that, and I just cried out to God and asked him to take it away from me, and God ended up, you know, taking that away from me. And now, you know, I mean, obviously if you're a man, you're gonna have temptations, but I know I'm not addicted like I was before. Okay, so I know, and there's also been videos and studies of how the negative effects of pornography and on men. I know Andrew Huberman, if you don't know who Andrew Huberman is, he's a great channel. You guys should check him out. He talks a lot about like the hormonal issues that go on in people, and like getting to the root cause. But he was talking about how pornography, it gives you such a dopamine rush that, you know, everything else that you do, you compare that to that feeling, and so everything else just feels inferior to when you're watching that type of stuff, and you get that, you know, huge rush of like pleasure. Whereas if you were to do something that's actually like productive in life, that's actually going to make a difference in your life, it feels inferior to that. And they've also had studies where you know, a society where there's lots of pornography, that it makes you lazier and it makes you more depressed. And you know, I would just say, you know, really try to fix that, and because it's just going to give you low self-esteem, and it's really going to just make you lazy. Honestly, you're going to feel like, and it's not even real, it's a fantasy. Okay, like, try to have goals and try to do things that are actually going to make a positive impact in your life. So so yeah, I just wanted to leave you guys with that, and I just hope you guys you know, drop a like for the video. Hope you guys like the commentary and my workout. And if you could just comment and subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification for when I post, so you guys stay up to date for all my posts. And see you guys on the next one. Alright, so I started off this workout with the reverse pec deck flies, and this is really good for building up those rear delts, which is pretty neglected in someone's physique because you can't see it, but it's important to work out the rear delts. And basically what I'm doing here is just going all the way down, all the way up, and squeezing at the top. That really helps bring out the fibers in the rear delts. And I'm also going to failure on this set too. This is my one working set, and I've just seen really good results just using one working set all the way to failure, rather than doing, you know, 5 sets, your traditional exercises. And this is where I'm going all out, and it just really helps me to just put my mind in a good spot for the set. And I'm also doing a drop set for this one because I wasn't satisfied with just failing on my my working weight with this exercise, and so now I'm just trying to go to failure again, but with a lighter weight, and just trying to get to the absolute top, but I wasn't able to. I think this next one, and this is where I failed. I just couldn't get it past this point, so that's when I knew, okay, I had done a good job. And then on to the next exercise. Alright, now moving on to the seated dumbbell curls. And so on this one, really focus on just getting the technique and the form down. It's so important on this exercise, because a lot of times people will try to just move their elbows forward and actually just start working your shoulders instead of your biceps. So I try to just arch my back and crunch my upper back as much as possible, so I don't use my shoulders at all during this exercise. And I'm letting my arms hang down too, and I'm not letting my palms really go towards my body. I'm trying to keep them facing towards the mirror. Sometimes my wrists start twisting towards my body, but I try to focus on just keeping my palms up, because it'll just keep tension on my biceps. But when I get closer to failure, it's harder to do that, so that's why you'll see my palms twisting. And at this point, they're really burning, and I'm just grinding through this set. Like, I'm just trying to get as much out of the rep as possible, and I'm controlling it all the way down too. I'm not letting that thing swing at all, and I'm just trying to, at the end here, go one arm at a time and just really squeeze out the reps as much as I can, and just focus on just really contracting my bicep as well. And I've noticed really good growth from this exercise, and yeah, it's just keeping that weight control. That's super important. Not letting it swing and not letting momentum carry you throughout the set. That's something that I've seen a lot of improvement in my physique just from doing that alone, and that can apply to any exercise too. At this point, my arms are just like absolutely burning, and there's no way I can get another rep out. But moving on, now we're doing the overhead tricep extensions, and this is really important to keep your elbows in. So basically, not so much so that they're touching each other, but just making sure that you're angling your elbows towards your head, and that'll really help you to contract your triceps. And then you don't have to do full range of motion with this one because you can really hurt your joint in your elbow. So I don't put a huge emphasis on that. You can get a lot of inflammation in your elbows from doing that. So just go all the way down to where you're comfortable with, and that's just fine. There's not a problem with that. Full range of motion only works unless you obviously have pain in your joints. So don't get too caught up in that. And now I'm doing the lateral dumbbell raises, and this one I'm going all the way up with my arms. It's a myth when people say, well, if you go too high, you're going to use your traps. You're using your traps anyways, but when you're going higher, your lateral head of your delt will be more engaged doing that than if you were just to go, I would say, halfway up, which I'm doing right now because I got too fatigued. So I just tried to squeeze as much as I could out of that set, and I'm doing a drop set again because I wasn't satisfied with the amount of reps that I got. So I went down 10 pounds, grabbed a lighter set of weights, and now I'm just same thing I was doing before. I'm not trying to not let momentum carry that weight up. I'm trying to keep my form perfect. Towards the end here, I swing a little bit, but that's just to go to failure. But if you're doing the regular, just in the middle of the set, just trying to keep good form and to squeeze at the top. And as you can see here, what I'm doing with the cable bicep curls, that's what I'm doing, and I'm just letting that down real slowly, squeezing it at the top and making sure that my reps are absolutely perfect. Instead of trying to increase the weight or trying to chase strength and ego in the gym, how about make the reps as perfect as possible, and on the next set make it even more perfect, make your technique even better. So that's really what you should be focusing on, in my opinion. I mean, you can get some good results just by, I guess, ego lifting, quote unquote, just swinging heavy weight around, but it'll only take you so far, and it's not sustainable because you'll just end up getting injuries in the future. So if you want to save your joints, you want to save your tendons, I recommend just training nice, slow, and just controlling the weight, guys. It's not an ego competition in the gym. You should just be focusing on yourself and not other people. So it's not worth getting injured, because if you're injured, then you can't work out, right? So that's really what I'm trying to do here. Just stimulate muscle growth, but also create longevity in what I'm doing as well. Alright, here's the last exercise that I recorded. I did like 2 more exercises after this, but this is the last one that I recorded because I just wanted to give you guys just some exercises to digest, not the whole thing. I thought it would be too much. But you see here I'm using the neutral grip on the shoulder press, and that's really just to take the pressure off of my shoulder joint. And when you use the wide grip, you can use more weight, but I found I feel it better in my shoulders when I do a neutral grip. And so try that out, see how it works for you guys. And I didn't have anybody training with me, so I just went to as much failure as I could on my own. But that's really it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this type of video and the commentary. So see you guys on the next one.